Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Generations of seekers have embraced the liberal religious traditions of our beloved community since 1865, bearing witness to injustice and leaving a legacy of love and action that we will honor for all of our days. My name is Stella Anderson, and I serve this congregation as the Director of Spiritual Growth and Development. Joining me this morning are the Reverend Manish Mishra-Marzetti, our Senior Minister, the Reverend Theresa Rohlck, our Minister of Pastoral Care, Dr. Carter Smith, our Acting Director of Music Ministries, Allison Halerz, our Pianist-in-Residence, and Mike Halerz, our Technology Consultant. With us also are Ryan Dibdahl, who will lead the Social Justice Connection, and of course, the wonderful Chalice Bells. Whether you're here in person, joining us on the live stream, or watching on demand, know in your hearts that all of you matter. And whether you've come back again and again, or this is your first time with us, we see you in your wholeness, and we love you just as you are. For the first-timers among us, you are warmly invited to attend a newcomer welcome right after the service in the Redmond Room, which is the second door on the left-hand side of the hallway, right before you reach the wall of name tags. There you'll be able to ask questions, meet members of our community, and most importantly, get first dibs on the donuts. Sorry, I mangled that one. If you're online, please take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat. Our virtual community will make you feel so welcome. Please also take a few minutes to fill out our newcomer survey, which is available on our website at uuaa.org/newcomersurvey, so we can find ways for you to get to know us and the work that we do. To all of you, may your experience this morning fill you with joy, energy, and purpose. Being here with all of you makes me feel whole. The warmth and love in this room is tangible. Every Sunday, I marvel at the miracle that brought all of us together at this singular moment in time. It's the result of an infinite number of forks in the road. Our lives are filled with choices, some momentous and some trivial, but each one opens up new possibilities. I'm reminded of the song from our hymnal, "Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going?" The world around us can seem out of control and dangerous, so we look for ways to make sense of it all. Uncertainty and seeking, it's at the heart of what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. It's definitely what led me here so many years ago, a longing for deeper connection and understanding, a longing to know and love myself better, a longing to live a life of purpose and meaning. How do we find what we are seeking? How do we tap into the source of all that is beautiful and loving and hopeful? How do we learn to accept and embrace our inherent worth and dignity? We practice, and we keep practicing. We meditate, we sing and play music, we garden, we cook, we write, we daydream, we pray, we walk, we stretch, we light chalices, we make things with our hands, we draw, we listen, we care, we hug, we cry, we serve others, and we worship, sometimes together and sometimes alone. We are, all of us, on a journey of discovery, step by step, one day at a time, one fork in the road after another. We are travelers, bravely navigating the mysteries and wonders of existence. However you got here, and wherever you're going next, thank you for being here now, at this moment, with all of us. We are gathered for worship.
Good morning. One of the things we do when we gather each week is light a chalice. It's something that Unitarian Universalist congregations do all over, and I love on Sunday morning imagining chalices being lit from the East Coast all the way across the West Coast during the different time zones. If you are at home watching on live stream and would like to get a candle or a chalice ready, I invite you to light it with us, and if you feel like it, put in the chat where you are, where your chalice is. Today, to help us light this chalice, I wonder, are there any 4th or 5th graders in the room? No 4th or 5th graders? A couple who are brave enough to come on up? Wonderful, if you would help us. Yes, thank you. 4th and 5th. It's such a joy to have so many children, and if we had them all, we would be stretched across the wall here. All right. So today, especially while we're thinking about spiritual pathways, let's imagine our light of the chalice as lighting our way, guiding us on our many paths. And as they're getting ready, we'll have the chalice lighting words. If you would say with me together, we light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you all. Thank you. About a week ago, I was in a service at a Lutheran church, and at one point in the service, the congregation, I would say 99% of which were Christian, spoke together words of their faith. They spoke together a creed, which identified them as a group, which is the profession of their faith. At that moment, I also was thinking, well, we do something similarly, and I was grateful that I had chosen a spiritual path that expressed that in terms of a covenant instead of a creed. A covenant is the promises we make about how we want to be in relationship with each other. And I'm also grateful that I'm in a place where that covenant can include many paths. It can include the Christian profession of faith, or many others, or none. So as you think about that, how we are all within this, as we say our own covenant today, I wonder if you will join me in these words. The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love and to help one another.
On this Sunday, as we explore pathways to spiritual growth, our story for all ages asks the fundamental question: how will you know which way to go? The Path, written and illustrated by Bob Staake. You will walk. You will walk along a well-worn path that many others have taken before you. Often the path will be easy, flat, and simple. It may take you over gentle, grassy hills, shaded by towering trees that sway in the breeze. The path might weave through valleys of wildflowers, bathed in the warm sunlight. But sometimes it will become bumpy and difficult. It may even be blocked by obstacles that you will need to overcome. It may meander through dark, scary forests, shadowed in mystery and easy to become lost in. The path will zig and zag up steep and challenging hills that appear impossible to climb. Then over violent, raging rivers, both terrifying and dangerous. When the path becomes muddy alongside a pond or through a soggy swamp, walking may be hard and your journey may be slow. And when it leads into a sunless, chilly cave, it may seem as if the path will simply end. It won't. The path will surprise you. As it splits into two different directions. How will you know which way to go? You will know. You will know because those two choices are not the only possibilities. You will know because, like all the others who have walked the path before you, you too will create your own path. The end. Now is the time in our service when we sing our children to their programs. I invite all of the K-5 kids to walk a pathway out of the sanctuary and into the Jackson Chapel, following the grade level signs held by our teachers as the congregation sings with love.
Your people Good morning. Once a month in our community, we take a little bit of time in our services to learn about the important work of building and nurturing justice that our community is actively engaged in alongside other local partners. This morning we'll be hearing from Ryan Dibdahl, who will be sharing with us some of the meaningful work that our Immigration Action Coalition has been engaged in. Please join me in welcoming Ryan to the pulpit.
Hello. I'm Ryan Dibdahl, and I'm here on behalf of the Immigration Action Coalition. Since 2018, we have been part of the Washtenaw Congregational Sanctuary Coalition, providing sanctuary to a man undocumented from Guinea, Africa. Over the years, he has developed kidney failure, but has been unable to get treatment because of his undocumented status. In this year, 2022, he did receive permanent immigration status, became eligible for a transplant, and has successfully received a new kidney on his way to healing. And he has just recently got his work permit, so he'll be in this year on his way to independence. In addition, in 2022, we partnered with Jewish Family Services and set up a smaller group called the Resettlement Committee to welcome a family from Guatemala, a woman, a single mother with boys 16 and 13, and twin daughters aged 9. With the help of our dedicated volunteers, they arrived to a warm, furnished home full of food and love. They've gotten all their formal affairs in order. They've accessed schools, big job, church and community services, secured permanent employment, received much needed medical and dental care, made many friends, and so much more. As they learn English and learn how to negotiate our systems, their dependence on us is ending. But they in turn have taken on welcoming other Spanish-speaking immigrant families and helping them get settled in our community. They wanted to share a little bit about their experience, so we assembled a short video for you to meet them.
Thank you so much. Dele duro.
It's been a lot of fun working with them. I want to thank everyone who has donated money, a car, household items, helped find an affordable apartment, gone grocery and clothes shopping, driven the family to medical appointments, set up bank accounts, helped to master school systems, led community excursions, and all the things it took to make this effort successful. We want to give a special shout out to Ed Lynn for assisting us from the congregation side, and also to Cecily Cordovilla for her coordination of our efforts due to her fluency in Spanish and her legal expertise. As we wind up our commitment to this family, we are hoping to be matched soon with a Ukrainian family through a new Jewish family services program that helps Ukrainians integrate into our community while sheltering here through the war. They may also have the opportunity to become permanent residents at the end of their stay. If you would like to be part of our efforts, please visit me to sign up at the Immigration Action Committee table in the social hour. We are also trying to enlist a busload of people to go to Lansing on Tuesday, February 28th, to meet with our congresspeople. The goal is to win their support for a new bill to restore the right for undocumented people to obtain a driver's license, so they don't have to risk being deported for driving a car. We will have a sign-up sheet for that trip in the social hall as well. If you're watching online, contact us at immigrationaction@uua.org to sign up for each of these opportunities. We urge all of you that are interested in taking action to help immigrants to join us in these efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. What a beautiful thing it is when we come together in these ways, pooling and sharing our time and our resources to make a tangible difference in the lives of others. This is the potential that is always there whenever we are together in these ways in community, in service to the values and the vision for the future that we hold dear. In that spirit, each Sunday we take a few moments to collect an offering in support of all the ministries that this community, that our congregation engages in. In just a few moments, the ushers will come down the aisles, and for those of us who are gathered in person today, you are invited to share as generously as you may be able, cash or check donations. You may also, in person, or if you're attending via the streaming or watching on demand later in the week, you can give electronically by going to uuaa.org/giving or by texting UUAA to 73256. We are grateful for this community's tremendous generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received. As the ushers bring forth this morning's collection, I'd invite those who are gathered in person to rise as you're comfortably able, in body or in spirit. Let us join our hearts and our voices together as we offer these familiar words of dedication. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these our offerings. Thank you, ushers, and I'd invite us to remain standing as we sing a hymn.
I invite you to turn in the teal hymnal to number 1013, Open My Heart, number 1013.
How do we keep our hearts open? The core, the center of our being, how do we return to that over and over and over again, despite all the things, challenges, events that life may throw our way? This gets to the heart of what it means to be living as a really good human being, to be doing our best, to be our best selves. It's not an easy thing to bring alive, to live into in this day and age that we're in. Constant reminders of that around us, as I was reminded this week. Some of you know I engage in a boxing practice. I'm part of a boxing club locally. And this week we had a guest with us, a young man who was 18, 19 years old, back in Ann Arbor from Lansing because his campus at Michigan State was closed for the entire week. I found myself feeling just this tremendous amount of sadness for him and his peers and what they must be going through, just trying to be 18 or 19 and be at school and do all the things undergrads get to do, including learn and socialize and all of it. And now the fear, the wondering, the thought of personal safety. Just my heart ached at that. And I felt frustration, even some amount of anger. It shouldn't be this way. We should be able to, as a society, to make common sense changes and reforms so that people can live their lives in peaceability, with dignity, without fear that you're gonna die because you go to class or you go to a movie theater. And then I felt fear as well. I began recalling, my son is turning 12 in a month. He's closer to that age, 18, 19, 20, than my memories of him being an infant, which are also precious to me, but not far, not long from now, he will be that age. And some of us here today, you already have children that are 18, 19, 20, or grandchildren that are at that age, or other young ones, young adults in your life who should be able to live their lives. Now, this is just 1 week, one event in 1 week that brought up for me so much sadness, frustration, anger, fear. And we're living in a time when it's often not one thing in 1 week, but many things, often in close succession with intensity. And so this question of how do we come back over and over again to our best selves is one of the most important questions of the time that we're living in. If we're caught up in those energies of anxiousness and fear and resentment, they don't serve us. We know they don't represent the better part of who we each are. We know that. We know it even when we're feeling those fraught energies. So as we want to make those positive differences in the world show up in a good way for loved ones, show up to be the change agents we are and want to be, how do we come back over and over again to the groundedness of our best selves? Now, Unitarian Universalism, I'm starting to love this phrase I've been using in recent years that I didn't use earlier in my career, but Unitarian Universalism is inherently a choose-your-own-adventure tradition. I love it. I love it that we are. It's kind of awesome. And if you grew up with those books in the 70s or 80s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's what I mean by that. We have structure. There's a basic structure, which includes Sundays, what we're doing, coming together to support one another, to be together in community. There's a basic structure. That structure also includes our principles, which I relate to as ethical statements. There is a theology embedded and implicit behind each one of those statements, but ethical statements nonetheless. This is a very minimalistic structure. And so what that creates is tremendous openness and spaciousness around how we approach that open, spacious structure, and how we deepen our own individual journeys within it. It is, in fact, necessary and incumbent on each of us individually to be thinking about that. Because this open, loose structure of Unitarian Universalism, it's not the end. It's not the be-all and end-all of everything. It's the beginning. It is a basic container. And then the real work of deepening is up to each of us within that very spacious structure. So what does that look like? What it looks like on the other side of it is that there are as many experiences of Unitarian Universalism as there are Unitarian Universalists, which means that our tradition is as varied, as diverse, as the several 100,000 Unitarian Universalists that exist. There's tremendous beauty in that. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. How do we arrive? How do we arrive at the deeper depth of each of those individual journeys? That's something I've been giving some thought to. And the major world traditions, the Abrahamic ones, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and the two larger Eastern traditions, Hinduism and Buddhism, they all have, at a minimum, implicit pathways or practices, whichever language you want to choose, pathways or practices, for deepening one's spiritual journey. What I love about the tradition that I grew up in, Hinduism, it's actually quite explicit. Now, Hinduism is as tremendously diverse a tradition as when you use the phrase Christianity. There's not one Christianity, there are thousands of forms of Christianity. The same is true for Hinduism. There are thousands of forms of Hinduism. You can say the same for Unitarian Universalism. There are thousands of forms of what Unitarian Universalism can look like. So out of these very broad umbrella-style religious traditions, Hinduism articulates it quite explicitly that now the Sanskrit word is margas. Marga means path or pathway. They're margas. They're specific pathways. And these pathways are not rank ordered. One is not better than the other. They're just different ways of deepening your own journey, your understanding of what it means to be a good human being and how you're living into that. There are 4 pathways in Hinduism. I want to share these with you because they're gorgeous, they're beautiful. The first is called Jnana Yoga. Now, we've heard the word yoga often with regards to stretching practices that involve poses. That's not actually what the word means. The word yoga just means discipline. We're bringing discipline to something. Jnana means, the strict definition is knowledge. So it's the first pathway is the discipline of knowledge, but we don't mean knowledge like learning facts. That's not what this pathway means. It means the study or the knowledge that guides us towards, that helps us arrive at wisdom. Wisdom in the Greek sense of the word Sophia, that eternal wisdom, the wisdom that informs our journeys, that helps us live into our best selves, that kind of wisdom. So this first path in Hinduism is the discipline of wisdom. The next one is called Bhakti Yoga. Yoga being the discipline, bhakti meaning, strict definition, devotion. So in India, there's many people follow a devotional path. There's literally thousands of deities, no shortage of ones to choose from. But what is underlying that devotion is a sense of love and appreciation. This is a path of love, love-centeredness. And we can relate to that love in so many ways. The love and appreciation of a beautiful sunrise or a gorgeous sunset, the awe and love that inspires, watching a butterfly go by and realizing the interconnectedness that butterfly is connected to plants and it's engaging in pollination and we're part of this circle of life, it can inspire this tremendous sense of love and appreciation and wonder. This is the path of love. The third path in Hinduism is called karma yoga. The karma is a word that is sometimes familiar to us, meaning things that come back at you, but really it means action. So this is the disciplined path of action, right action, good action, noble action. For those of us who've studied Greek philosophy at all, you know that that's not an easy thing to arrive at. There were Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they've devoted volumes of books to what right action might or might not be. The mean in between extreme possible actions, living into and acting on virtue. What is virtue? What is the virtuous action to undertake in a given circumstance? How do you know which virtue to bring to bear? It requires so much discernment and care on our part. This path is one that requires a lot of us, but it's a beautiful path. And the fourth and final one is called Raja Yoga, strictly referring to meditative style practices, the discipline of meditation, but you could also think of it as the discipline of going deeply inward, working with posture, working with breath, working with concentration, working with a mastery of our senses, all of these things as a way to go deeply inside of ourselves, and through that have even kind of a transcendent experience of a greater oneness, a greater unity. Each of these paths can pushing us towards inviting a particular type of experience. That path of wisdom, it's a contemplative path. The path of love, it can involve a euphoric, even ecstatic experience of the world around us, this joy and appreciation of all things. The path of right action, it's an engaged path. It's one that we use would recognize well. The path of grounded justice seeking and justice making. The path of meditation, it's one of going deeply inward and finding a solidity inside ourselves, a groundedness inside of ourselves. In Hinduism, these paths are not rank ordered. One is not better than the other. Because you find something that speaks to you doesn't mean that the others have no value. They are not mutually exclusive either. You can engage in various aspects of each of these, but to go deeply down one path, any such path of personal spiritual deepening, is how we enliven our own exploration of what it means to be human. Now, Buddhism grows out of the Hindu tradition, birthed out of the Hindu tradition, we could say, and it gives us another concept or pathway, that of mindfulness. We associate that most closely with meditation as well. But for those who, and we have many Unitarian Universalist Buddhist practitioners, mindfulness is not only about a meditation practice. We can bring mindfulness to bear in cooking and chopping vegetables, in cleaning our home, in creating, building art, in song or dance or journaling or writing poetry. There's no shortage of the number of ways in which we can bring intentionality and mindfulness to something that speaks deeply to us, to a practice that speaks deeply to us, that helps us ground ourselves in the best version of ourselves. In that way, the number of pathways, the number of margas that exist are infinite. There are as many pathways as we can potentially find or want to explore. It's always a question of what resonates for each of us individually, what actually works, what actually helps bring us back to who we truly are, that deeper version of ourselves. I want to invite us to hold that sense of exploration, that sense of openness around the infinite number of pathways through which we can deepen our own journey. In just a few moments, we're going to sing together hymn 1031. It's in our teal hymnals. It's called Filled with Loving Kindness. The text of this hymn, it's from the Buddhist tradition, 100%. So the content is Buddhist. And I'd like you to also focus on the form, that of singing, that of song. This is also one of the pathways by which we can relate to our own deepest essence, our truest self of who we are. Being in touch with how we're using our voice and how we're engaging in song. We can sing in a rote manner. We're singing words that are printed on a page, but we can also sing imbuing our voice with our personal energy. The song can carry your love. It can carry your compassion. It can carry your caring for others and the world. Try it out. Song is most definitely a spiritual practice and one of the pathways as well. Let us remain seated and join together in singing hymn 1031.
filled. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Reverend Manish just spoke about the many different pathways there are, spiritual pathways. And interacting with a labyrinth is one specific way to embody this idea of spiritual pathways. And a labyrinth is quite literally a pathway, most often in a circular pattern where you enter and exit from the same spot. It is one path that moves towards a center point and then returns. You cannot get lost in a labyrinth. No matter how intricate the path, you will always be able to return again. Labyrinths are ancient and have existed in many cultures for thousands of years. In the Middle Ages, labyrinths reappeared in Christian context and provided a way to practice spiritual centering, contemplation, and prayer. This is a very famous labyrinth pattern with 11 circuits or concentric circles. It's named for Chartres, the cathedral in France, where this design was laid into the floor in the mid-13th century. The Chartres labyrinth is 42 feet in diameter. And we have a much smaller cloth version that the young people are using today during their class time. They're walking on that cloth labyrinth. And you are all welcome to do so as well if you wish. After the service, you can find this in the Spiritual Growth and Development wing across from the Faz Chapel. But we can experience the spiritual practice of walking a labyrinth, the centering, the contemplation, or the prayer that it offers without traveling to France. We can even experience it without walking. This image is the same as the paper version you picked up on the way into the sanctuary. Or if you are at home, this same image will appear on your screen. You may also open a link to this pattern from the Order of Service, UUAA.org/OOS. If you missed picking one up and would like one, raise your hand and an usher will make sure you get one. So with this paper version, you may trace the pathway with your finger. You may trace the pathway with your eyes, or you may just imagine tracing or walking through one in your mind. So if you would come with me now as we circle inward. I will guide you through the meditation, but feel free to do this at your own pace. Start to move towards the center. As you do, let go of things weighing you down. Set aside anger, frustration, grief, sadness. Set aside what makes you anxious or worried. Try to just let it go. As you continue to circle inward, let your thoughts become quieter. Let your mind become still. Find the stillness within you. When you arrive at the center, pause and feel what has surfaced for you from that place of stillness. Focus on that which is holy for you: the universe, the human mind, the natural world, God, love. Let's stay together in this place for a few moments. When you're ready, retrace your path to where you began. Return again. Return. Return again.
Return again. Return to the home of your soul.
Please join in singing hymn 1011. When you feel ready, you can join in.
Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again.
remember there are many spiritual paths available to us. May we remember there is a path to the center of our being. May we not lose the stillness that has come to us along the way. May that stillness be of comfort today and always. May the paths you choose today and in the days to come be peaceful. May you be well. May we all be well. Go in peace, my friends. Amen.